Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. So a lot of the impulse or a lot of the momentum of yesterday's low, of the weekend low, has actually been lost again. Yeah, buying interest has already slowed down and the volume has slowed down as well. Yeah, it basically had a correction here where it shouldn't ideally have had one, and it turned from a possible triangle into something, yeah, I don't know. It could be a lot of stuff here. The thing is, what we need to look at here when we pay attention to this move to the upside is that so far it's not a 5-wave move, as you can clearly see. So I've taken the sub-wave count of wave 3 out because it's not reliable. I would have thought maybe it's a triangle, but as I said in the last video, it was a bit too early to talk about a triangle, but nevertheless shared with you some ideas. Yeah, for now, I think it's only a 3-wave move. We want eventually to see 5 waves. And in this particular third wave, it would need to reach the 1.618 extension of the wave 1, which is at 23, well, basically 24K. It hasn't done that yet. And so far, we just need a bit of patience to see if momentum can come back to the upside. I think it will depend to a degree on the stock market that's going to open in a few hours. So let's see how the stock market starts. But it's on very thin ice here, yeah, on very thin ice. Highlighted to you that against the level of 23,140, the focus could be on higher, but it's certainly with the latest movements here, the latest sell-off, and the yeah, the lack of upside momentum, yeah, it gets again increasingly likely that this was just a sort of fake out, which is always a bit of a risk when you only get 3 waves up and not a proper impulse. As I mentioned to you yesterday, there were a few issues or small issues with this chart. One issue was certainly the wave 2, which wasn't deep enough. So it didn't give us a very clear 1-2 setup. And also here this flat pattern, which is just a sideways correction, whereas normally in a wave 2, you get a proper swing low, yeah, which we didn't get. And then here, this movement would have been nice, yeah, but it should have turned into something like a triangle. This movement here is certainly nothing that would give me a lot of confidence into further upside. So I continue to watch, wait for clarity here. There's no point labeling this now, because it could be a lot. It could be another, yeah, maybe 1-2 setup, even though then we've got this here, and this looks like a clear 3-wave move at the moment. So, and yeah, at the moment we need to be a bit patient, need to watch for the 23,140 level. If it breaks below that, it would invalidate this 1-2 setup here. It wouldn't necessarily invalidate all of the upside, yeah. I mean, a lot can happen. It's just that this particular account would be invalidated. Therefore, you know, it's worth not getting too involved with micro counting. I always say that, and I still show you some ideas how it could unfold on the lower degrees. Key is really this yellow support area. Yeah, I mean, even if it comes down again, it could very well come down to 22,842 again and then rally, or it could come down to 22,184 and then rally. Various possibilities are there on the lower time frames. That's the key level here for this particular scenario. We discussed 2 more scenarios in previous videos. I will, at the moment, I'm just focusing here on the lower degree wave count because we discussed them before, and I will probably discuss them later in the video today. But yeah, here we just need to watch, do we now hold this key support level? You can probably extend out here maybe a trend line to see if we find some support when we pull back to it, and you've got here the 50% retracement at 23,300 plus a possible trend line. But again, you know, there is not much more to add. Key level here really for the bulls to break above is 24,040, and in the very short term, actually ideally above the previous swing high of 23,700. Until then, we need to see if the bulls can get the momentum back. But what I can tell you is certainly that this sell-off that we've seen here over the last few hours is not really healthy for continuation. It's not a clear impulse, and therefore we zoom out again, take a look at this yellow support area, which is still relevant, and maybe we come into it again. If we do, we've got another chance at these fib levels to turn around at a later stage. But for now, there is not enough clarity to add any sub-wave count labeling to this movement. Okay, That's my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.